Jasmine. Hey everybody, it's Jasmine, and today I have a brand new video that I was actually requested by one of my subscribers. Her name is Bella, and I was requested to do a video talking about me being Cambodian. This topic to me is something I never thought I would actually address because I never thought of, I guess, the importance of actually vocalizing how I feel about my own ethnicity, about my own culture and my roots. But apparently to some of you guys it is very interesting because a lot of the comments that I do get from other khmer watchers, viewers, you guys always tell me, oh my god, I've never seen a Cambodian YouTuber. So to me that is a huge compliment in its own. So this is why I feel confident in talking about everything that I'm going to talk about today. Hopefully we can learn a little bit more about each other. I do have some questions that you guys personally asked me, but I'm gonna just start off with a little bit of a FAQ type of thing because you guys have pretty much the same questions. So am I born in America or was I born in Cambodia? I was born in California. My parents were born in Cambodia, and unfortunately they endured the Khmer Rouge, which is why they moved here in the first place. Now, unfortunately, within the war, I lost my two grandfathers and I just never grew up with them. I grew up with everybody else in my family, which I'm so thankful for, but I just wish I had a grandfather figure to talk to. But I know he's somewhere up there looking down on me, blessing me, being like, I see you, girl. I see you. Another question that I get asked, not only online, but my friends ask me too, do I speak Khmer? Unfortunately, I can understand it very well. I can speak like the bare minimum, and as of right now, as of like a week ago, I've actually been trying to teach myself how to speak more and more Khmer. So right now, where I'm at, if you want to see my progress, I can count up to 20 pretty confidently, so there's that. I am thinking about doing a whole video, like a makeup tutorial where I speak Khmer, but that is so scary to me. Maybe later, maybe later. Have I ever visited Cambodia? Yes, when I was 16. Right now I'm 20, in case you guys don't know. And it was nice. It was really cool. I got to see where my parents grew up. I got to see Phnom Penh, and it was just an eye-opening experience overall, and I would definitely go back, but you know, it's all the way across the world, honey. So whenever I have time, whenever I have money, especially money, then I would be glad to go again. So I'm just gonna go onto my YouTube community tab where you guys asked me some questions, and I got one from Emerald on the Moon that says, LOL, you're like the first one I've ever seen on YouTube. So it would be a cool video. She's talking about this one. But one question would be, what do your parents think about it? Because my parents are always so not understanding and strict, but yours may not be, so it'd be cool to know. Now, when I told my parents that I made YouTube videos, their initial reaction was like, okay, cool. My parents, I feel like, are strict to the point where like I can't hang out with people, but then if it's like something that I want to do on my own and that's affecting just me personally, I don't think they really care. For example, I cut my hair, right? I cut my bangs. They don't care. I would dye my bangs blue in high school. They didn't care. If I asked for a sleepover, they would say no. But when I told them I had a YouTube channel, and when they actually found out, and they found out that a significant handful of people were watching, they were really proud of me, and they were like, wow, you're really doing some shit, you know? So it's really cool to see them actually support what I like doing, you know, being a makeup artist, like a freelance makeup artist, and seeing them support me. It's very, very reassuring, and I never thought that I would have a career or just something that I like doing that they approve of, because Asian parents in general, so strict. I was always the kid who had to get straight A's and had to do my best in school. So just doing something that I thought was out of the ordinary is kind of scary, but just knowing that they're okay with it is a big breath of fresh air. Bianca Lee asked me what it's like to be a Cambodian YouTuber. There isn't a very large Asian beauty guru community, so I think starting out was hard in the sense of not seeing this role in the community. I agree completely. I noticed it from a very young age. Even where I live, even in the community that I live in, I am pretty much always the only Cambodian person. And I think that just being in a community in person where there's not a lot of Cambodian people, it just put into perspective that I want to represent Cambodians. I don't know why, but I just want to represent, because we are so often overlooked because we are such a small country, and it's sad to see that we are depicted as like either gangsters or either really poor. And I just want you guys to know, like, hey, we don't have to fall into those stereotypes. Like, we can be like somewhat successful and we can be somebody with those stereotypes attached to us, but we don't have to fall into them. And another side note, even before I was fully into makeup and all that, I even noticed on those foundation charts or even in magazines, there were rarely any Asian models. And if there was an Asian model, they were stark white. They were always like the palest Asian. So to me, I always felt like, oh, that makes me really pale too. But no, I am a medium skin tone. I'm an Asian girl of color, and I want to see more of that represented, whether they are Cambodian, whether they are Thai, whether they're Lao, whether they're Mian. I don't care. I want to see the representation within the brands because we're often always overlooked. Rose Like the Flower asked me, do you speak Cambodian? And if you do, can you give us a little sample? Maybe say, yes, I speak Cambodian. Ooh, I suck at when people tell me to say a specific sentence because I get put under pressure. If I remember correctly, Ja Kyom Ye Khmer. And knowing my parents, I know damn well they taught me Cambodian before English, but they started to talk a little bit more English at home because they wanted to learn English. So that kind of halted the expansion of my knowledge to speak Khmer, but I can understand it. It's fine. Karen asked me, how is your diet? Mostly Cambodian or American? And what is my favorite Cambodian meal? My diet is anything Asian. Anything Asian. I love Asian food, whether it's Korean, whether it's Vietnamese, whether it's Thai, whether it's Cambodian. I love it all. I'm just such a huge foodie. They're like, ugh, Asian food does it right. It's so filling, it's so warm, it's just so much like home to me, and it just makes me feel so comforted. So any Asian food will do. American food though, I don't really eat all that much American food, to be honest. It makes me feel very bloated and very fat, so I'd rather not, you know? And then she said, what is my favorite Cambodian meal? I love salamachu. I love salamachu with those little lotus roots. Goodbye. Goodbye. Have a nice day. Like, I would be all up in there. I would literally go in and just take the lotus root lettuce. God. Just take it. Take it, girl. Yes. My uncle makes amazing ban chao. Oh my god. Oh my god. And obviously just your typical katil, which is noodles. I mean, you can't really go wrong with noodles, right? So I asked you guys questions on Instagram and you guys asked me. Hanya Sam asked me, why do you think there are so few Cambodians? And I think more so she's talking about the YouTube side of things, or like social media. I think there's so few because, again, we're not represented, and it kind of goes back to the first question that I had from Emerald. It's because a lot of Asian parents are strict. Not a lot of parents are able to be cool and chill and be like, hey, that's the right way to go. Because, you know, there's a lot of pressure because my parents and my aunties and everybody who's older than me majored in some type of science, biology, physiology, whatever. And I'm like the next one down, you know? And so I had a lot of pressure, and I can just probably tell you that it is the pressure from Cambodian families because, again, we are a poor country, and yes, we're kind of like up and coming, but more so we are pretty poor. And I think that when you are a Cambodian parent, you want your child to succeed and you want them to make good choices so that they can have a lot of money, provide for the family. And I think that just in an outsider's perspective, people don't think that, oh, making YouTube videos can get you by. I mean, granted, like I don't really get paid off YouTube. Like most of my money is like commission from affiliate links, but even yet, I still like doing it. But I think just having the mindset of like, oh, maybe my parents aren't going to appreciate this or even accept this is something that always kind of runs in the back of our minds. And I think that is why there is so few. Jaden Noseworthy asked me, what was your favorite thing about Cambodia and do I see myself moving back? Well, I never moved there in the first place. But I think my favorite thing about Cambodia was some of the food. Definitely wherever you go, food is sometimes hit or miss depending on like where you go. But I remember, I think it was Mandolkari, and there was this restaurant there. They had some fresh egg noodles. Oh my god, I dream about it. It was so good and it's just so fresh, like just everything about it, like the scenery, and you know, some of the people there are really, really nice. Obviously my family was really nice to me, but just everything about it, it just felt like home to me. And I know it was really hot, and I know like the traffic there is crazy, and everything just like isn't as, I guess, civilized as United States, but I just felt comfortable. Everything about it, I just felt really comfortable and I had a great time. And I do see myself visiting again. It's just something that I cherish so much. I mean, it's my motherland. What do you expect? I love it there. Cham Lee asked me, has anyone assumed your race? Girl, everybody assumes my race. Nobody ever in my life guessed that I was Cambodian. I have never came across anybody. None of my friends ever guessed I was Cambodian. Everybody in this town that I live in thinks I'm Filipino. Where I work, people think I'm Mexican. They also think I'm Indian. I don't look Indian. I mean, I don't look Indian at all. Or I don't even look Mexican. And people think I'm Chinese, Japanese, Korean. People think I'm Thai, but like they think everything but Cambodian. And it's kind of crazy to me, but also not crazy because again, we're just not represented enough. And that's kind of my mission. My mission in life is to represent my fellow Cambodians, you know? And whether it be in makeup or whether it be within my business major, I want to make it known. I want to let people know that we're out here. Taran asked me, what was it like growing up Cambodian in America? Any difficulties and racism? That was a really deep question. Growing up in America, it definitely is kind of an eye-opener, even though I haven't, you know, been in Cambodia all that much. It was definitely an eye-opener because even at a young age, like I said, I kind of noticed that I'm unrepresented in a lot of circumstances, and I noticed that people look down on a lot of Asian people, and it's not just Cambodians, it's literally a lot of Asian people, and they think that all we're good at is becoming like nurses or just really good at math, and we just hold this stereotype. Where I work, there is a lot of racism, and I've caught in so many insults throughout my life. You know, even at a young age, like people would come up to me and they'll be like, hey, are you from China? Straight up to my face. People at work would be like, I don't understand what you're saying. I don't speak your Ching Chong language. Or they would say things out of pocket, and when I'm working, they would say like, can you read this? It says like, I don't know, like I'll just hold up this because it's right in front of me. My hourglass highlighter, it would just be like, can you read this? H-O-U-R, etc., etc. So I've witnessed so much racism throughout my life. People think I'm incompetent. People think that I don't know how to speak English. People think that I don't know how to do all these things regarding English, and it's just frustrating. It's frustrating. And you don't know how many times I've just tried to keep my cool and to just say, you know what? They don't know me. They don't know where I came from. And that, to me, racism, it's its own difficulty. I've just had a lot of difficulties growing up in general that don't pertain to being Cambodian, but that itself is a whole nother video, and I have just gone through hell and back, basically. So just thinking about like me being bullied and like all the racial slurs that I've endured, it's a lot to take in, because like you never expect, like when you're 12, you never expect people to come up to you and be like, can you read this because you're Asian? It's hard. It's hard growing up in that environment, and I still get that today. You know, it's something that's never ending. So it still like strikes like a really hard core. I mean, I don't even know if that even makes sense, but it just hits me hard. It hits me hard when people just continuously bully you and, you know, just say all these mean things, and they know what they're doing. You know, you can't just say like the N-word to an African-American person and just be like, oh yeah, but like that's just fine. Like, no, you know what you're doing. You know exactly what you're doing, and you're doing it to hurt somebody. You're doing it to perpetuate somebody. You're not doing it just because it's cool. By the way, I'm sorry for crying. I had like a really rough day at work today. People were calling me names, and I think that's why I'm so upset about the whole like racism thing. It's because it's so fresh. It's so like on the surface, you know, and I'm still trying to get through it. So if you ever think that calling people names or saying anything rude to somebody is okay, it's never okay. But you know what? At the end of the day, I love being Cambodian. I love being underrepresented because it gives me the space and opportunity to grow and to show people what's right from wrong. And I am so thankful that I have a platform where I can share my thoughts genuinely and openly to you guys, because again, it's helping me achieve my dream, and it's helping me spread the word that like, hey, you know, there's more races in Asia than just Chinese, Japanese, and Korean. There's so many more countries out there, and I just want people to know that, you know, it's okay to like ask if somebody is a certain race, but you know, it's another thing to just assume and to belittle them, because it's not okay, it's not fine. I want to end this video on a positive note and just talk about the good things about being Cambodian. And you know, it is bittersweet that Cambodians are underrepresented, but it's also a blessing, because you know, if you're Cambodian, you're watching this, we have the power to make everybody aware that, you know, we're here and we're here to make an impact. Throughout my life, I've had many friends, and I've educated them a lot about me and my culture through food, just through me speaking the very teeny bit of Cambodian that I know. And it's good to share cultures. And I think that is something I want you guys to take away from this. Share your cultures and be open about it. Be open, take in the information with a very open mind. Everybody is unique in their own way, and we are not what stereotypes claim us to be. So I just want to end this video on a positive note. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you to everybody who asked me questions. Thank you for recommending this video, and I hope this shed some light onto you guys. I'm sorry I got really emotional. I'm just a really emotional person when it comes to bullying and when it comes to just racism. So thank you guys so much, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye. Peace out, girls, cats.